Welcome to a full beginner guide to Backpack Battles. This is great for people who are just getting started or fairly new to the game. But even if you know some stuff already, I'm gonna drop some like general tips that should help anyone further in the video. This is in pre-release, so full release should be happening soon. I don't think there's anything major changing except for like live matchmaking might be added. We don't have that currently, so things maybe look a bit different. There's also gonna be another new class. Currently there's only 4 classes, but I remember I made a guide like almost a year ago in the open beta, and a lot has changed since then. So that's why I'm doing an updated version. So I'm gonna quickly show you on the homepage what you can find over here, and then I'm gonna drop into an example game and explain all of the mechanics in the game and everything that you need to know to get started. But one thing that you need to know is if you're learning this game, the best way to do so is just take your time. This game is great at that because there's infinite time during turns, and during the combat you can replay it, you can pause, you can look at the logs. So I'm gonna show you how to navigate that and how to get the best information that you want and learn the quickest, because there's a lot of information, a lot of different items and stuff like that. But first of all, there's different classes in the game. They basically all have starting bags, and they start with different items. So if you choose the classes, you can see here the starting bags that you can start with. There's also random that you can enable or disable. Second surprises means you get a random bag and random items. So you can, try whichever you want. But if you're new to the game, I would recommend trying Ranger with the default bag, the Ranger bag, or Reaper. These were also the first ones that the game started with, and I think they're the easiest conceptually to understand, because the Ranger one, basically it just gives you crit chance. Crit chance means double damage. So if you put a weapon inside, like Wood Sword, this also means that it's inside. It has 10% default crit chance and plus 3% for each luck. So luck, like the clover, is a buff that you can gain. It's gonna up your crit chance, and your weapons have a chance to deal double damage on hit. On Reaper, this default storage coffin, whenever something triggers inside, you have 25% to inflict a poison. So let's say the mushroom triggers, this has a 4.3 second cooldown. It has a 1 in 4 to inflict another poison. So you just want to max out the bag and put as many fast triggers in it as possible. So those are the 2 bags. Then Pyro works with a bunch of heat, which is a way to accelerate items. Berserk has battle rage, but again, I'm not here to explain everything. This video is gonna get way too long if I do that. It's up to you to read everything and to figure out. I think the best way to learn is also just play. Pick a class, pick a bag, and jump in game and see how it interacts. Because me explaining it is never going to be as good as you actually experiencing it and messing around with it. It's the best way to learn. And there's no stakes if you do unranked. In unranked, there's no rank. Like, the matchups are pretty easy as well. Overall, it's just easier if you're not familiar with things and you just want to experiment. Ranked, well, you're going to be at a low rank starting out, so I guess early on it's also going to be really easy. But as you can see, every class has a separate rank as well. Very quickly, what you can see here on the main menu is these are the settings. I'm not going to go over all of them, but most of it is just like optimization, and then these are shortcuts I will have to look at later when I show you what they do. Then items, this is a great feature that they added where you can basically see every item in the game. So if you're ever confused of like, what can I hit, what is this, what is that, you can just go here. You can also access this when you're in game and literally hover over any you want. You can click on it and you get all the info that you need. Also, there's 2 tabs here. If you click item info, you click on an item, you get to see like some bonus stats, but also the cost of it, like how much it's worth. You can see for which class it is, and you also, I'm gonna hide my camera real quick, you can see how it's crafted. So this, for example, dragon scale armor is crafted by combining the hammer with the armor or combining the pants with the armor. So anything that you want to know, you can see here. And with filter, you can choose out different classes. For example, let me just see only ranger items. This is that. You can see by rarity, you can see by like the buffs that they give. You can even search. So you will be spending a lot of time in here if you want to like theory craft stuff or find out what would interact with each other, how to craft stuff. Because then you have recipes, which kind of is a same version of the inventory, but it just shows everything that is craftable. Because if you combine 2 items in this game, a lot of them craft into different weapons. So let's say the shovel, as you can see, it is a broom plus a pan. For you, it's all going to be black if you haven't crafted anything. These only show up once you crafted it. This is kind of like a hunt. You want to like try and craft everything, so this menu is fully filled out for you. And on the top left, you can choose the different classes. So this is where you'll see recipes in case you forget about them. Then the wardrobe is just skins. You can buy these with trophies you get for winning games. I have 18,000 right now. I have way too much time in this game, but every class you can choose an outfit. You can enable chibi as well, which is a different avatar with also different outfits, I guess. I'm not a big fan of it, but yeah, cosmetics. And that is mostly it. So I'm gonna pick the Ranger basic bag. I'm gonna drop into an unranked game, and I'm gonna show you everything you need to know. So first of all, okay, we start with a unique item. That's actually great. On the left here, you'll see all your stats. So it is round 1, turn 1. I have no wins yet. Every round you can either win or you lose, and then you lose a life. You have 5 HP. You lose a round, you lose an HP. Pretty basic. If you go to 0, you're dead. You have 12 gold and every round it increases. Next round you will have 9. So the first round you have more gold. Now you go to 9, then 10, 11. I think it keeps ramping up with +1 gold. I'm not 100% sure. Your health also keeps ramping up. So next round I'll have 35 health. And you start with 5 stamina. If you look at a weapon, it has a bunch of stats. So Wood Sword has 1 to 3 damage, which equates to 1.4 DPS, so damage per second. It has 1 stamina cost, so whenever it triggers, it's gonna try and consume 1 stamina. You regenerate 1 stamina per second by default, so it uses 0.7 stamina per second. You will never use all your stamina with this weapon in theory, right? Because you use 0.7 stamina per second, but you gain back at least 1 per second. And even in the bottom left here shows you how much stamina total you use in case you want to find out. Like, let me buy the broom here. I'm gonna put it in, and you see this one uses 1.2 stamina or 0.7 stamina per second. So 0.7 plus 0.7. Right now I'm using 1.4 stamina per second. This I cannot sustain, so eventually I will be out of stamina. Another really important statistic is the accuracy. So it has 90% accuracy, meaning it has 10% to miss on attack. You can boost accuracy with clovers. As you can see, luck in this game increases accuracy by 5%. So right now this would be at 95% accuracy. It only shows you like all the stats once you go in combat. So if you would speed this up, or if you would add luck or any buffs, it doesn't show it in this shopping menu. Only once you go in combat, it will calculate all of it. And the cooldown is 1.4, so it triggers every 1.4 seconds. So broom cooldown is 1.7. It goes slightly slower. It is slightly higher stamina cost, but it's still 0.7. The DPS is slightly more, as we can see, and the accuracy is slightly higher as well. And then they can have different effects. So this doesn't really have any effect. The broom, on the other hand, when the opponent misses, you gain +2 damage for the next attack. So, you know, blinding them or them having lower accuracy is good for you, because then you can deal more damage with the broom. And on hit, it has a 33% chance to inflict a blind. So 1 in 3 if it hits, you inflict blind, and if they miss, you get +2 damage with broom. That's kind of the synergy here. But again, I'm not going to explain every weapon. You will have to go over this and see yourself and run fights and then understand what the weapons do. So I have 10 gold right now because I spent 2. This is a shop, and you can roll for 1 gold, which I will show you in a second as well. And if you go and hover over the shop here, you can see the rarity. So right now 90% for commons, rares is 10%, and you can't roll anything above. Every turn this is going to update, and eventually you'll be able to roll godly items, and the odds are going to completely shift. Sale chance is 10%, so 10% for item to be in sale, like this bow and like the broom, which means it's half price. So normally it's 4 gold, now it's 2. Also, items sell for half price. So I bought this broom for 2 gold, and I can sell it back for 2 because by default it is 4 gold. So I'm gonna sell it just to show you. You do that by dragging it over the chest, and there you go. And I'll just buy this short bow here. You just drag it in the bag. And rotating you do by right clicking. So by holding an item and right clicking, that's how I usually rotate. With the arrow keys, you can move the bags, but you can also bind it to any other keys. Again, this is going to be found here in the inputs and the shortcuts, same with the rotate item. And this is what we call a unique item. Now, I'm pretty lucky to have it around 1, because as you can see, uniques on shop entered have a 12% to appear. Again, these odds can be messed with, and you can only have 1 unique in the game, unless you have a special item that increases the amount of uniques you can have. So I found a unique item in the shop, 12%. I'm not going to explain what this does. I'm also not going to buy it, but some uniques are good, some are bad, as any item in the game. Garlic is a food item, and now we can illustrate like the stars around weapons, because sometimes some items have like stars around them. So this has 6 stars, 2 on the sides, 1 on top, 1 below. And basically at the bottom you can see food triggers 10% faster for each starred food of a different type. So if you put other food around this that is not garlic in the stars are going to light up and it goes 10% faster. So let me roll here, find another food item. This is not food. This is also not food. Also important to know, if something is on sale, it's always free, right? You can buy it, you can sell it later, you don't lose any money. So a good strategy is to just buy sale items and sell them back if you don't need them. Stones are also free. This is 1 gold and it sells for 1 gold. So you can always just pick up a stone and sell it if you need money. And I found another food item finally, banana. So banana is a good way to gain stamina. Every 5 seconds you heal for 4 and you regenerate 1 stamina. So that way you should be able to keep up with stamina that's slightly higher than 1. So I want both weapons in the starting bag still, because again, if they're in the starting bag, they have a chance to double hit, or to crit, I should say. And I'm gonna show the banana here next to the garlic, and you can see that the star lights up. It's only 1 star that you can light up with a food item. You can light up both, but banana also has stars around it, and this way both food items are going to be sped up by 10%. Yeah, a lot of items will have stars around it, and again, just read what they do, but if you put stuff next to it, it might have a bonus. And I'm also gonna sell the stone here to buy another garlic to put it next to the banana, and this is gonna be my starting bag. I'm hiding with my cam, but in the bottom right, if you ever want to know what certain items can do that you don't have, or what you're looking for, here's the item tab again that we looked at earlier, where you can see everything that you would want. Be mindful that I'm playing Ranger right now. If you're looking at items from Reaper, for example, these are items that you cannot get. There is no way that you can find any of this in the shop because these are Reaper exclusive. Now, there is unique items and special items in the game that allow cross-class, so you can find items from a different class on this class, but you shouldn't pay too much attention to that because those don't happen like that often. But you also, bottom right, have recipes, the same tab as I showed before, to like craft stuff. Anyway, when you're done, you just click start backpack battle and you're going to be queued with someone. This is asynchronous matchmaking, so it takes a backpack from another player who recently builds something around your rank. Now, this is unrated. I don't know how the hidden MMR works with this, but it's going to be similar. So as you can see, there's a menu up top here where you can like choose how fast the battle goes, choose how slow it goes, you can pause even, and you have the combat log. But I'm going to show this after the battle is done. Here you have your health, you have your opponent's health, you have block that you gain. For example, the garlics give me free block whenever they trigger, which is just armor on top of your health. There's stamina bar, we both have 5 stamina. If you use weapons or anything else that uses stamina, you will see this like go down and back up because you regenerate stamina from different sources. Buffs, right now we have the 1 luck because you have 1 lucky clover, which means, as you can see, our accuracy is green, meaning it's buffed. So in combat, you can see how stats are going to affect your weapons and everything else. If something is green, that means that the stat is boosted, and if something is colored red, that means that the stat is negatively affected. So right now my accuracy is, well, plus 5%, so this is at 95, this is at 90, and the crit chance is at 13% here and 13 because they have the 10 from the default bag and the free bonus percent from the clover. The food as well, you can see the speed is increased, it's green because it's touching other food items, and you can hover over what your opponent is doing, check it out, see what is happening here. I'm just gonna let the fight play out here. And you can see they're stemming out. They are using, well, free weapons. They don't have the stamina to support it. So if they don't have the stamina, it just stems out. You hear the honk sound, you see it, and it just basically doesn't trigger at all. They also gain mana. So in the bottom, it shows you buffs and debuffs. Like I mentioned earlier, right now it's just a luck, but there's a bunch of buffs in the game that you can get. Same with debuffs. Again, I am not going to explain every single buff and debuff because these things you kind of have to read on your own, and they might change in the future. But I won the round. So round 1, I got 1 trophy, 1 win, and still 5 lives because, well, they lost a life essentially. Now, if you click open log, yeah, there's an eye on top where you can like hide this winning screen if you want. You open the log, you can basically see everything that happened, and if you go through it with your mouse, you go back to that point in the fight. You can see the health totals, you can see the luck, you can see how much damage is like inflicted, how much armor you gained. You can also click these tabs on the side, and then you can see, for example, my short bow did 20 damage, my wood sword 19, a total of 39 damage, and you have curves and everything. It shows you I missed once with wood sword. You can check their curves, their damage totals, and not even that, you can even go through like how much you healed. I healed 8 with the banana, how much you use your stamina, how much is everything activated in the game. It's a lot. Anything that you would want to know, you can find out. Luck, I gained 1 luck from Lucky Clover. Now these logs look very simple still because it's the first round, but you can find out anything that you would want to find out from you or your opponent. Even on top here, you can like search for specific items. If I want to find out, for example, mana, you can see, oh, he just gained some mana with blueberry here in the logs. You can even replay the fight if you want. You can go back in the fight if you want, play in reverse. Yeah, mess around with it. But if you are ever wondering how you lost the fight, I still like most of the time open the logs after every combat because it's fun to replay the fight and see what happened and how you beat someone, because sometimes it gets really wild. Now we can move on to the next round. Round 2, we have 9 gold, 35 HP, still 5 stamina, and I'm going to show you a crafting recipe. So we have a tusk here. You see the blue lines. The blue lines indicate that this combines with other items. It points towards the shield because this together with shield makes a spike shield, which is this item right here. But it also combines with the bow that we have here. So I'm going to put this next to the bow, and you can see it tries to make a tusk poker. If you don't want to combine, you can right click an item and it locks it, and that way you cancel the combine with whatever item it tries to combine. But if you unlock it, the line turns to yellow again, and we're going to get a different weapon. So I'm just going to buy the spike, play it here, And then you have to go in combat, and after combat it combines. And we might as well just buy some space, because the only way to get more items is by getting more space. That's it, that's my turn, and we go next. This person is playing Pyromancer, has a shovel. There's also different kind of spaces, so I just bought a leather bag. There's also bags that, you know, items inside go 10% faster. You have bags that increase your maximum stamina. Bunch of ways that you can, you know, play the game or build your backpack. Every game is very different. So we have a spike now as well from our Tusk. I'm just gonna play through the fight. I'm gonna speed it up, it's not too important. Looks like we might lose this simply because, well, they have a better backpack. They have healing herbs, so they have regen, which heals them. They also inflict a lot of blind with the shovel, so I had 4 blind. Each stack decreases my accuracy by 5%, as you can see. So the accuracy of Wood Sword, now you can see it's orange. It's 75%. This thing only at 70% accuracy. So if I want to go to logs right now and see, okay, they healed a total of 47 this entire fight from the pepper healed them a lot, and from the regen. Meanwhile, I only did 88 damage and they did 89, just one more. And you also see fatigue here. So the fight goes too long, or after a certain amount of time, fatigue starts happening, and basically it just deals 1 damage, then 2 damage, then 3 damage, then 4 damage. This is just so fights cannot go infinitely long and someone will eventually die to the damage from fatigue. So you can see the curves getting a bit like more full, a bit more complex as things ramp up over time. So now if I end this turn, I'm at 4 HP. I slowly got 1 win. The bow is gonna combine and we get a new item, the Test Poker. Round 3, again, I'm just gonna play through this because round 4 is the first real decision that we have to make in this game. And just to illustrate you kind of what happens if you roll too much, I'm just gonna buy this on sale. I'll buy the stone. I'll roll again. Oh, that's a bow. This is an epic, and epics, as you can see, only have 5%. It's kind of good, and I got a spike, so I'm just gonna get this. And I think I'm selling the sword for it. So I'm selling sword, I'll sell stone. That gives me enough money to buy this. And now we gotta try and find a way to position this. Because it also wants to be in the bag, of course. I'll put it here. And it also combines with the Tusk. That's kind of why I wanted it, because now I have a Tusk Poker and I'll get a Tusk Piercer, which is the bow right here. So again, if you see things combine, just try it out, see what happens, see what it builds, and mess around with it. I don't have space to put the garlic in. That is fine. Let's just go to the fights. And we're facing someone with 2 piggy banks, which is just an item that does nothing. It just gives you 1 extra gold the next turn. And 2 swords with a whetstone, which increases the damage. I'm gonna just speed up the fight. And we win pretty easily, it looks like. So now, turn 4, I'm gonna get to combine here, and this is choose a skill. Currently, as of right now, turn 4 and turn 10, you get to choose a skill. Skills are special items that you can't find in the shop normally. You can't get any other way except on these turns. So these are, oh, Markswoman is really good. Again, I'm not gonna like explain what all the skills here do, but this is really good with ranged weapons. I have 2 ranged weapons, so I'm gonna put it in the backpack. And this is gonna kind of guide your game. So in backpack battles, like most auto battlers, you have an early game, you have tempo, strength, and you eventually want to get to the late game. So you want to build something that increases their strength over time, something that scales, or like high burst. There's a bunch of different endgame builds or approaches that you can take. Again, playing a lot and seeing other people play, like streamers or on YouTube or wherever, is going to give you a good idea of like what good endgames are. But basically, skills are going to nudge you in a direction of like, okay, this is something I can build towards. And then you can start looking for specific items, or you can start having an idea of what you want to get going. It looks like I want spikes, it looks like I want ranged stuff, and I will see what the shops get me. Another clover is good. Again, it increases accuracy and it's going to give me higher crit chance to both weapons. And I'm just going to play some turns pretty quickly through the game. Nothing too special. Ooh, another spike. I want it, but I don't have money. You can also look to save an item, so if I right click this, it's reserved. It's still going to show up next turn, and even if an item is reserved and you roll, you keep it in the shop. I'm even tempted to go for another one of those bows. I think I will do it, and I think I will just buy the stone here and call it a day. And I'll just, yeah, keep going. Another interesting item that I will point out is the unidentified amulet. Basically, if you buy this, it turns into a random effect. And these can be pretty good. So if you go to items, for example, and you're gonna look for all items amulet, these are what they can turn into. So you buy it, you play it, and it can be one of these effects. And just like skills, they kind of are gonna help you nudge into a direction. So I might look this. I'm gonna show you next round what it looks like if you buy it. So if I buy it here, it's gonna transform, and we got Amulet of Alchemy, which is good for potions. I'm looking at potion as well. I might buy it later. Acorn color, now this is a ranger specific item, so this you cannot find on other classes, and what it does, it increases my crit chance for each clover you have with the stars around. So basically, let's say I put it in the middle here. You can see it sees all 3 weapons. I have 2 clovers, so that's gonna be 10% total crits on these weapons. And that is the ranger class identity mainly, and especially when you play with this bag. So this is round 7, round 8 is a very important turn as well. Which is basically the class item turn. This is going to be your biggest turn in the entire game to decide what you want to do. You also gain a life back if you ever lost a life at some point, which is pretty massive. But here, you're going to be offered 5 class items, and these are way more impactful than skills. Back in open beta, this was the only thing you got offered, a class item. You didn't have skills, you didn't have amulets. This was your decision. So on Ranger, you can again look at what all of they do. This is like a lot of luck gain, a lot of money. This works with pets. You get offered pets in the shop. Works really well with food. This is like mana and nature based. This piercing arrow is the easiest. Again, this was like the most basic one. This is usually good. And you have Ivy, which works well with spikes. I have a lot of spikes and it inflicts poison. Just for this illustration, I think Ivy might be better, but I'm gonna get the arrow. Basically, you see the stars and the diamonds around it. We have not seen diamonds yet. They are basically a second star because some items has 2 different triggers so that it has stars and the green diamond. If you put weapons in the stars, they deal 50% bonus crit damage. So on top of the double damage, you get another additional 50% damage, and they remove armor when they crit. Then on the diamonds, if that item activates, it could also be the same weapon. It has a 55% chance to gain a luck, and as you can see, more luck gives you more crit, and more crit means more damage. So this is just a way to scale your damage pretty easily and have a lot of luck gain. So I'm just gonna take this. I'm gonna find a good spot for it in a second. But we can start hitting godly items already. 10%. Yeah, things are gonna get crazy soon. Now, I'm gonna get this, and because we have the potion amulet, I'm gonna buy this potion, and I'm still gonna consider this one. And now comes the puzzling. This game, more than Auto Battler, is a puzzle game. And I think a lot of people don't realize that, but well, it's one of the biggest skills that you can have. And that's why I love Backpack Battles, honestly. It's one of the few Auto Battlers that has this unique, like, puzzle aspect to it. Okay, so this is kind of what I went for. The arrow, you see the diamond and the star line up with the dust piercer. This is going to be my main damage dealer because these don't have a lot of damage. They also don't scale damage, so I just use the diamonds from this. Diamond and star. Acorn color sees these weapons still to crit. The markswoman wants to see all the ranged weapons, which I was able to do right here. The banana is still touching 2 of the garlics as well. And the potion amulet sees the potion. So you're just trying to make sure that everything sees each other and interacts well. And again, you have infinite time to think about this and to go through this. One thing, if you're unsure, that I, like a lot of people do as well that are starting out, is we have a Discord. Backpack also has an official Discord, and there's a Reddit, I'm pretty sure. Like, you can try and post your backpacks in there and ask people, hey, does this look good? What would you do from here? Would you change this positioning? And I'm pretty sure a lot of people would be more than willing to help you out. So there's a community for it. You can join my Discord, the official one, whatever. You don't have to go through this alone. But even if you want to go through this alone, I think it's a fun challenge. So I'm just gonna run this fight, and in 2 more rounds is another big turn. So skills were turn 4 and turn 10. So this is round 8. I'm facing, dude, I'm dealing so much damage. It's actually very strong. Goddamn. I'll buy more potions. I guess I'll get this one. Okay, we lost this one, but now we're going into round 10, which is gonna be another skill. So these are, again, kind of can help you guide into a certain direction. None of these sadly seem good for me. So you could skip it if you want, but I will just go for this one because it's still a big heal. And that is mainly it. From here, you're gonna keep playing until you hit survival. So I'll see you guys when I hit survival. So I finally made it to survival, which is 10 wins. You can basically take the win, and ranked is going to give you a bit of points. Or you can go to survival, which basically means you have extra rounds. Right now it tells me I have 5 rounds left. You gain 1 life back as well. So basically I have 4 HP. I need to survive 5 rounds. And depending on how much HP you have in the end, you can gain a lot of bonus points. So if you want to gain more points, you can go in survival. But if you have a weak backpack, you have the chance of losing everything and losing points still, or gaining less than you would take the win. But overall, a good rule is to always take survival. On average, most of the time, survival is always going to be worth it. I don't know many people that don't go survival. So unless they change this mechanic, I would just take it, play the extra rounds, things get really fun. Very often you don't even have a refined full build yet by survival. And that's it. There's nothing special that happens anymore. You're just gonna keep playing through the game. Everything right now, as you see, has 20% chance to spawn in the shop. People are going to have really good backpacks, hopefully you as well. You need to figure out how you compete with people, how you counter certain builds, but all of this comes naturally the more you play. If you're starting out, just learn the items, find out what you can play, the combines, and see what people do. Take your time, have fun with it. A few other general tips, like with the bags, for example, you can use like a drag, kind of like you're selecting something in Photoshop. Let's say I do this, and you basically take all the bags that you selected, you can drag them around, and you can use the right mouse button to rotate them. So you could like move the bags, put it somewhere else if you would want. It's a really cool feature about this game. Also, you can replace bags. So let's say I take this white bag, I'm gonna put a pineapple out of it, and I'll put it here. We do it, you see the bow stays here, and now I have the square bag. So this is basically a setting here as well. Swap bags only by default. If you don't have this, basically if you would put this over the bow, you would have the bow in the bag, take it. So whichever one you prefer, you can mess around with it, but there's a lot of like flexibility. Even if you do something wrong, let's say you accidentally do this, you're like, fuck, I didn't want that, you can Control Z and go back to how it was. Yeah, I really like all the customization in this game. They've been adding a lot over time, and right now I'm making the guide because they're close to full release. They're adding a couple big things like the live matchmaking, another class, but they added skills recently, all of this quality of life stuff. They have, I think the game is in a good enough spot that's probably gonna stay here. So I hope that all the info that they gave you right now is enough. I don't know if I missed anything important. I don't think so, but if I did, feel free to let me know. And again, I post a lot, I stream a lot. You can always check content if you want to learn more about the game, or if you want to ask questions, you can do so live or in the Discord. But yeah, I'm not going to go over advanced stuff like what comes to play, how to counter certain things, what people play, because none of that is going to be relevant to you yet. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you hopefully again sometime soon. Enjoy Backpack.